Okay, here we go. We've got a Bobcat. What is this? It's a 643. Just an old skid steer. And it's old. You can see that on the front tire. It's got a couple of lugs broke off. Front tires wore out. I put new back tires on it. I bought this thing without a motor in it. It was a diesel. And when I bought it, it did not have a motor. So I figured I've been wanting to take one of these little lawnmower engines. This is a 27 horsepower, 29 horsepower. 29 horsepower, it's Kawasaki FD791D. I've always wanted to take one of these and put it in the truck, but I ain't put it in the truck yet. So I decided I was going to put one in one of these skid steers. Got a beehive trying to take there. I decided I was going to put one in one of these skid steers, so I bought this machine without the motor in it. Went to Virginia and picked it up, brought it back, and I designed a coupler up there in this one to couple the motor to the hydraulic pump. Now, it's not that hard to do. That is a spline shaft up there with a U-joint on it. So you've got to figure out a way to hook to that spline shaft, which I bought the actual coupler. I don't think you'll be able to see it. I bought the coupler there, and it comes with 4 big bolts, like a big washer on the back where it bolts onto the flywheel. And of course I didn't have the flywheel, and that flywheel also cools the hydraulics. So what I've done, I've put this electric fan up here, and it seems to work out all right. So down there on that coupler, what I done, I went to Tractor Supply and bought a gear that will go on an 1.25-inch hub, which Tractor Supply also sells. And I welded that hub to that gear, and then I drilled that gear to that washer diameter and bolted it together. So I'm running 4 bolts there. The downside of doing what I've done here, I'm basically running on a 1/4-inch shear key back there in the back where that motor couples to the hydraulic pump. But I've not had no problems whatsoever out of it. I use this thing all the time. I use it loading hay. Actually, I've made 2 of them. This is the second one. The first one did so well, I made this one up. The other one, you'll probably see in some videos later, I've put weights here. I've weighted it up in the back with lawnmower weights, but I've got weights on this side and I've got weights on the other side, and I've put weights inside the door. Here I've got weights. What I need to do to both of these machines is louver these doors. These doors are classified to counterweight, and you see how thick that door is. It's the counterweight for this machine. It's heavy. But let's see if this thing will start. I ain't started it in probably 2 months, 3 months, something like that. I know the other tire over there on the front is flat. That was my keys. I know that tire over there is flat, but let's see here. Let's see if she'll start. She's out of fuel, ain't it? Go back here and check. These motors got to have electric fuel pump on it. Now I think it's out of fuel, or I've got it shut off. Fuel shut off's on the other side. Well, I'll say that. See what else in there. Give it a little more gas over there. Well, we heard it run. I use it all the time. Might be out of fuel. Go over here, investigate a little bit more. This might be a how to fix a Bobcat video instead of a how to run a Bobcat on a lawnmower engine. Yeah, it is out of fuel. That's what the problem is. But anyway, you can tell I haven't driven in a while. I made this little setup up over there. It's got a temperature gauge on it and a amp gauge on it to run with. It does have the auxiliary hydraulics on it. They work good. It's got the high capacity bucket on it. It works good. I have not. The lift is the same. Putting a smaller motor in it does not affect the lift at all. What it does affect is the travel speed. So, say you run in and you pick up a whatever. Say you're picking that picnic table up. You pick that picnic table up, you're fine. If you turn and try to pick it up higher at the same time, it will bog down and you'll slow down just ever so slightly. Not a ton, but just a little bit. That's the only difference I can see in it. If you try to do 2 or 3 functions at one time, it slows you down just a little bit. But like that tree there, that cedar, I pushed it up with it. Wasn't no problem. I pushed it right out of this red clay. It does good. I picked that trailer up with it, that gooseneck. I picked the back of it up with it, no problem, and moved it around where I could get it in there. Actually, I pushed it in there with it. This was, we'll go down and talk about that later. But the so if you see these old Bobcats, these ones that there's basically a U-joint that connects them, you can put just about any motor in them things if you just think about it for a few minutes, and you can figure out how to connect them up. You're good to go. My other one had a gas motor in it. It was a 753 maybe. It's a different one. It was it's the next series up, the 742 maybe. Yeah, 742. It was a gas unit. That gas unit, I wore the motor out, so I put that same exact motor in that one first, and I've been using it for over a year. And I made this one about 6 or 8 months after I made that other one. I found this one on Facebook and bought it and made it up. I think I've got lights and all on this thing. I know I do on the other one. Yeah, I got lights on this one too, and both of them have the external hydraulics where I can run augers and tillers and levelers and any kind of motorized equipment. But like I say, it's this old equipment, if you just take your time with it and work real easy with it and try not to force it, you know, I figured out a long time ago, when you go to forcing equipment is when it goes to costing you. And I know I could paint it up and make it look all nice and all, but let's face it, I'm right here on the side of the road, the main road right there, and I don't want somebody trying to steal it. You leave it like that, everybody thinks it's a pile of junk and they won't mess with it. As long as it runs good, you don't care what other people think, and it gets the job done. You just keep using it. But I loaded out most of this hay this year to the goats down there with it. The other day you guys saw me use my track hoe down there to load it out, but that's what I did.